How's it going, boys? Johnny Superbman here, and it's time for our second GM mode commentary for NHL 13, alright? I'm going to be starting it within a week, so I want to get this video out for you guys so that we can vote on which team we want to try and make a Stanley Cup contender next. Alright, so before we get into that, I just want to go over a few rules for our next GM mode commentary. Basically, it's going to be very similar. We're going to keep everything the same. I'm not going to edit any rosters, any of the prospects. Might do that in the future, but for right now, we're going to keep it all the same. Alright, waivers, we're just going to keep off completely. Alright, we're not going to even worry about waivers. Injuries, we're going to keep off until the playoffs, then we put them back on. I like that little routine that we get into. Alright, the only thing that we're going to change for this GM mode commentary is the length in the years. Now, I'm going to change it from 5 to 10 years, but that doesn't mean that we're going to do 10 years, all right? I want to move the GM mode commentaries from 5 to 6 years, because 5 years, a lot of you guys like to see the young guys flourish and get a little bit better. And if we extend it, I was thinking maybe 7 years, that might be a little bit too long, but if we make it for 6 years, right, and I put the length for 10 years, well, then by year 6, we can go into the offseason and see what the contract situation is and then end it at the draft, you know what I mean? So we can see, because we saw with our Calgary Flames by year 5, we couldn't go up to the next year to see how everyone got better. So if we extend it to 10 years, then we can at least fool around with the years afterwards, however we want, all right? So I want to make it at least 6 years, and if I'll put an option for a 7th and an 8th year if you guys want to see us continue, all right? So that's the only change. It's not going to be 5 years. It's going to be at minimum 6 years, all right? We're definitely going to get 6 years done, and then the option, if you guys want us to keep going, the option for the 7th and 8th year, all right? I think 10 years is too long. Unless, we're at the end of NHL 13. I remember the Tampa Bay GM mode commentary for 12. It was nice having a 10-year, but it did go a little bit long, so I think 6 or 7 years would be the perfect amount. All right, boys, so that's the one change I'm going to make. All right, so those are all the rules. Now let's get into the teams that we can choose for the next GM mode commentary. So we just did the Western Conference, so we're going to go back to the Eastern Conference, no doubt. All right, I'm not going to do a team that I've already done in 12. We're going to keep doing new teams. All right, so I've narrowed it down to 3 different teams for you guys to choose. And they're all teams that should be a playoff team in year 1, basically, all right? No crazy rebuild like the Calgary Flames. The first team on our list is the Washington Capitals. That's right, Alexander Ovechkin, all right? I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, there's not a lot to do in this team. Well, I've done my fair share of GM simulations. I've never seen the Washington Capitals win the Cup, all right? We got a nice team there. Backstrom, Semen's gone, but you got Ovechkin, who is really good, but he's a salary cap hog, right? He's like $9.5 million or something like that. So we got some issues to deal with there. It might be smart to trade away Ovechkin and get 2 or 3 really good prospects or players, right? Or do we just try to win the Stanley Cup years 1, 2? Do we keep Braden Holtby as our goalie, right? So there's a lot of good things there with Washington. I think they could be a good team, but they need GM Superbman to take them to that next level, all right? So there's one option. The next option is the Philadelphia Flyers. Same thing. I think that they're in a better situation than the Washington Capitals, but still, Brizgalov, is he the answer? All right, a lot of their young guns who are really good in the NHL, they're still kind of rated kind of low in this game. So I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender year 1, but Philadelphia, they want to win their cup. Chris Pronger, he won't be injured. So another team that their mindset is not to rebuild. Their mindset is to win this year. So GM Superbman would have to come and make some changes and try to get that team to the Stanley Cup Finals and finally win it. You know what I mean? So Philadelphia, there's option number 2. And option number 3, the Buffalo Sabres. Now, these guys, I think, would be the powerhouse of these 3 just because Ryan Miller, he'd be your goalie for 6 years. You wouldn't have to worry about him, all right? An elite goalie, so you just build around Ryan Miller, basically, all right? It wouldn't be a rebuild. Ryan Miller, he's pushing. He's not pushing. He's still in his prime. But he only does have 5 or 6 good years left in him, all right? But that's what we would make the franchise run. I wouldn't rebuild whatsoever. I wouldn't get any prospects whatsoever. It's about building your team for the next 5 years and then going into a rebuild when Ryan Miller has to retire, basically, all right? So it's like an anti-rebuild. It's like a blow-up, basically. Try to win this cup in the next 3 to 4 years because Ryan Miller's not getting any younger, all right? So that's what the story is with the Buffalo Sabres. So we got 3 good stories here, Washington, Philadelphia, and Buffalo. Buffalo and Washington, they look like they have that superstar player that you got to decide, do we build around or do we trade and restart? And Philadelphia, you got Claude Giroux, who you would not trade away for anything, but you'd have to build around and decide whether or not Brzgalov is your goalie going forward, all right? So we got 3 options here. As always, I'll put 3 comments down at the bottom. You can thumbs them up. Eventually, they're going to get spammed. Don't worry, I'll unspam them. If they don't show up right now, come back in a few hours and then look for them. All right? They're going to be at the very bottom of the comments, the first 3 comments, Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Washington, all right? And that GM mode commentary is going to start up within a week, all right, boys? So there you go. Make sure to choose a good one because that's going to dictate the next 60 or so episodes. All right, boys? For Johnny Superbman and the Great Domski, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.